Hey pretty faces, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Gillian with a G, and dare you spell it wrong. Today I have another pretty face who's joining me. Please introduce yourself, lady.
I mean, there's not much to say. Hello, my name is Anna, and for some reason I'm friends with this crazy person.
Girl.
And I'm just on her YouTube channel for clout. I mean, I don't think I even like her, but you do what you gotta do.
Jeez, I'm gonna be good in you. So today actually, why I also have Anna on this channel is she lived abroad. She's actually moving back, and I lived abroad, but we live in different countries, and I thought it would be nice to kind of get my perspective and her perspective about living abroad, life abroad, changing your whole life, packing up your life in bags, not in like big trucks. Before we carry on, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Before we get going, this is don't judge.
It's gin. Don't lie to people.
Yeah.
It's gin. We just leave it there.
And we're ready for this. So and we got some foods. So if you follow me on my channel, you know that I lived abroad for 3 years in California. Anna, where did you stay, or where are you moving to? Don't choke.
So China, the capital, Beijing. Fancy. Nothing like California. I wish.
So how long have you been in China?
Like about a year, but I took a break earlier this year, and I go back next Thursday.
That is so sad, guys. Now, if you know what I do, I was an au pair in California. Anna, what do you do?
The usual, teach English.
Look at our teacher here, so she's gonna perfect my grammar up in here. Now, for me, I'm first gonna speak from my end. For me, when I moved, it was like I had cultural shock, but I feel like people think that moving is popping place. It's not popping place. Like, you literally pack up your life in a bag or two and you move. You go to a country where you know nobody, you don't have any friends. Sometimes it's even different languages. How was your experience with that?
Oh man, that was very difficult because I mean, I do encourage you, if you're moving to a country where they don't speak English, obviously to try and learn as much beforehand excuse me, as possible, and I think to assimilate, because you're going to have a difficult time otherwise. But my decision to move was so like abrupt that I hadn't fully processed it. Like, it happened in under a month. It was a joke with a friend in the office, and she's like, just apply, and then I was actually doing it, so I didn't get as much time to sort of learn. And so you kind of arrogantly think, because you're going to the capital of a big country, that everyone can speak English. And man, it is difficult. Like, you get so happy if you come across a Chinese person who can speak Mandarin. I mean, not Mandarin.
Are you sure you're teaching English in China?
Who can speak English. Like, that can literally make your day or your week, because that's how rare it might be.
Wow.
In the capital city. So I take my hat off to friends and just generally people who are living in smaller towns. I mean, I have a friend who was a foreigner, the only foreigner rather, in one whole town. So, I mean, she was always a person I looked up to, because even though I had the challenges with the language barrier, and I would call her and moan, and then I'd think, oh my god,
she's the only one.
Yeah, and then listen to me.
But I feel like you also learn to humble yourself.
Oh my gosh.
For me, as living in America, I feel like, and I also had a language barrier, and y'all would be like, what?
Yeah, she can't speak English.
That's where it came in. But the thing is, Americans speak American English, and we speak like more of a British accent English. So
we speak proper English.
Yes, but for me it was like language. We were speaking English, but we were not on the same page for English. But other than that, I said ignorance, or being ignorant.
Or arrogant, yeah.
Arrogant too, because one thing that I experienced when I was living in California is how ignorant people are. As soon as I said I'm from South Africa, And I'm sure it happened to you too, so please stop me.
I don't know what you're going to say, but it was worse with me. I have an idea.
So if I said I'm from South Africa, the first thing would be, and I don't know, it's like, oh, I have a friend somewhere in Africa. Like, what's that? What's up there? Egypt or something. Wow, I'm like, so, and then I looked to myself and I'm like the first few months I was like, well, South Africa is in the south of Africa, if that doesn't give it away. So how would I know your friend who's in North Africa, East Africa?
With all due respect, I've never been to America, but I mean, you watch those, you know, like Late Night with Conan or whatever, and they go on the streets and like get like the average man's opinion on something, and they'd go to like some of these towns and they'd be like, tell me about whatever this map within America, point out X, Y, or Z, or this, that, and they don't even understand their own map. So it's asking a lot for them to understand the global.
But I'm gonna stop you there, because for me it is like, okay, and that's how first I was thinking, and then I'm like, it doesn't even help, like useless, it doesn't help. But I was thinking and I'm like, I know so much about your country. Like, I watched Gossip Girl, watched the Days of Our Lives, like, I watched everything. And I'm like, so, I was educated to a point. What? What? Salem is in Boston.
For sure. For sure. I mean, we all watch Days.
Yeah, but like, I was educated about that. And in my head, I was like, the thing is, America lives about America. They don't actually learn about things outside America. As time went by, that's how I processed it. And as time went by, I was like, well, it is what it is. But what was your experience? Well, you can first eat.
No, you always get me as I'm eating. I see. I see your strategy.
That's why you should eat when I'm talking.
What was the question?
So I said, like, people being ignorant.
It's not a question.
No, but like ignorance. Have you experienced any ignorance?
Yeah, both ways. From my part,
with this teacher thing, it was not a question. But anyhow,
how? I mean, from my part, yes, some ignorance, and also mirrored back, like you say, you know, the isolation situation, and it's worse in China.
Are they black people?
Ta-da!
No, but you're actually South African and you came back and you're
going
back.
There actually is, like, especially in certain, China's so big, guys. So big. So like, I know in places like Guangzhou, because of the trade, that a lot of African people end up settling there and marrying Chinese women and men, and so there's a lot of like mixed
making blackanese.
So that's a thing. And look, ignorance, sometimes the ignorance can be perceived as racism, sometimes outright racism, but I think as a person of color, you've got to preempt it anyway, but not to a point where you're walking in with this energy waiting for it to happen. But I'm saying that, like, if it does happen, you just have to weigh it out and see like how you're gonna sort of react. Don't just be like, because some of it is ignorance. What I have realized with a group of a lot of like black women that I have experienced in Beijing, particularly South Africans that I know, they tend to create their own echo chambers. So they just hang around each other. They don't even try to get you know, out of that clique and even meet like
different cultures,
other internationals, and they certainly don't make an effort with the locals. People have been living there for years. They don't want to assimilate. They don't want to speak the language. And they're just angry.
They just don't want to learn. They just don't want to engage.
And so the problem with that is that's the ignorance we have as foreigners in a country. But beyond that, because you're in your echo chamber of the same race, you're just mirroring back the same thing, and you don't realize that if you went out with a white person or an Indian person, they're getting very similar results. So there's this perception that Chinese people hate black people. And I don't know, I've only been there a year, but personally in my experience, I find more love there than I have here.
Amen. But then again, that's why you're going back, right? So now you must eat because I'm gonna talk. But now for me, and I do get like these questions, like au pairs asking me, they're like, okay, so I want to move, I want to leave, but what about homesickness? How do I deal with homesickness? Like when I know I'm gonna miss it, or me and my parents are very close, me and my friends like brothers, like, yo, we are like this. And for me, then I'm like, how I'm gonna tell you how I dealt with homesickness. I was very fortunate enough to have a family who had already had a South African au pair before. So they were educated, clued up about South Africa. So when I got there, they showed me to a store that had South African food. And then also, yeah, so it was like something like that. Or maybe there was actually a restaurant in, not actually, it's still there, in Laguna Beach. There's a restaurant called Mozambique. They have amarula, they have like your peri-peri livers, but because of a medical condition, I can't eat peri-peri. But like things like that. And I feel like when I dealt with homesickness, I either go and buy something that reminded me of home, I'll WhatsApp my mom, I'll call her, I'll speak to friends on this side, I'll watch even Siamdalan on YouTube, because I mean, like, there wasn't really a lot of people who spoke Afrikaans there, and my family was very supportive in that way, for giving me time to process, to let me sulk, and then after that I'll be like, okay, I'm cool, I'm ready, let's go.
Yeah.
And I feel like the longer I stayed there, the less I missed home, because that became a home. Like, that became a home, that became my everyday thing. And now that I'm actually back in South Africa, I feel like this is my visiting country and that's my home. Because I like what you said, I was treated better that side than I am by South Africans. No shade. And from your side, how do you deal with homesickness?
I mean, I have to be honest.
Oh, sorry, and I need to say too, I also, like, there was like a group of South Africans that I could get with, you know, sometimes we'll make like our jokes, and just like things that reminded of us of South Africa.
Yeah, I think that initially I wasn't, or maybe I fooled myself, I wasn't really feeling homesick at all. I was just so happy to be in
was strong, ne?
No, because it ended in like a meltdown. But yeah, I was just running around. I was in awe, like, you know, you get hutongs, and that's like those traditional Chinese buildings that you see in movies. And I was like, oh my god, like, I haven't watched Karate Kid, but like it would be like, you know, the one with Will Smith's son, and you're like, oh my god, I'm seeing this, or the Great Wall. It's like my neighbor's like, hey, should we go to the Great Wall this weekend? And it's like, just to be able to just be like, yeah, sure. And I didn't travel much. I think that's a goal that I'm working towards. But the mere fact of like having that, what was the question? I've just gone off on a tangent.
Oh my gosh, homesickness.
Talking about traveling. Oh my word.
How did you deal with homesickness?
Okay, yeah, no, this is relevant. So, you know, you have the opportunity to plan trips to amazing places. So that's kind of consuming you, because I didn't have that back home. And so I wasn't really feeling homesick until one day I had plastic bags, right? Like from that I bought.
Checkers?
Yeah, Checkers, Clicks,
the
whole shebang that I bought my stuff in, or things I was buying in, and I just like wrapped them in my, you know. So anyway, I'd use them as lining in my dustbin. And I pulled them out the one day and I realized I only had one left, and it was a Clicks bag. And I just sat down and I bawled.
That's when it hit you?
Yeah, and I couldn't do it. And it hit me in different waves, because I was walking in between the hutongs, these little alleyways, and I like to do that and just walk on my own. And I found like this one restaurant, and they sold Two Oceans wine. I don't even drink that here, but I was so excited. I bought it for 200 Rand. I think it's 30 Rand here.
Dude, the prices are ridiculous though.
But that's how they get you. It's an emotional purchase.
And they know you'll buy it though. That's the thing. They'll know you'll buy it. But I like also, the thing is, looking at both of us, different countries, but from South Africa, we dealt with homesickness differently. So it doesn't mean that my experience is going to be the same as your experience, or Anna's experience is going to be the same as your experience. But if you need to cry, cry. If you need to yell, yell. If you like anything that you want to do, if you even want to message me, message me. I know I'm not there, but maybe I'll be listening, you know. But also for me, I forgot what I was going to say, but you can eat.
Can I say something? I mean, obviously not wanting to go too much into negative space, but I do think that these are things that are overlooked, because I didn't even realize this. I was in a bus. We were going to some beach party or whatever, and it was like a long drive. And so we all congregated at the end of the bus, being ghetto, the black people from each country, and just being loud. And we got into this conversation. There's this guy, Eli, he's from the States or whatever. And so he's been living there a while. He speaks perfect Chinese. I know it's Mandarin. Calm down, but I've never had a Chinese person walk up to me and be like, do you speak Mandarin? Everyone's like, do you speak Chinese?
Listen to the teacher.
But anyway, so he spoke perfect Chinese basically. So the communication barrier wasn't there, what have you. And prior to moving, he realized that the sort of thing is that trend he saw with all his friends that were abroad were like posting these amazing pictures on Instagram, and he was like, oh wow, I've never been out of the States, this would be amazing. But they'd come home and consistently everyone was kind of depressed. And I think it's part of like you mess up the flow. And he said it's the first time in history people are moving without a plan, without an actual plan. You just throw yourself out there. Like I said, I did it in a month, and you don't really think about it, or you're not fully ready, and then you've messed it up. So you come home and you can't relate to that either. And like you say, that becomes your home.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's another thing people don't realize is that you become sort of this like,
you feel like you don't belong anyway.
Yeah, like a vagabond.
Yes.
You're just this person lingering in good and bad ways. You're this global citizen.
Sometimes I feel like I am just, you know, like when you look at yourself, but your body's there and you are not there. Sometimes I do feel like that. But once again, like, and I like that you said depression. One thing is, don't exclude yourself from maybe suffering from depression, anxiety, and mental health is, I feel like it plays a big part, especially when you move to a country where you know nobody.
You don't realize.
You don't even speak the language. Like, it's totally different.
It can get lonely.
It can get lonely. And the thing is, don't feel like when you have a mental issue that there's something wrong with you, or when you're feeling depressed that there's something wrong with you.
I mean, as long as you don't wallow.
Yeah.
As long as you don't wallow, sorry to interrupt, as long as you don't wallow, and I think that you have to realize that wherever you are, you need to assimilate, you need to understand the culture, and if it's not for you and you're complaining all the time,
it's not for you.
Maybe you should go home.
There's nothing wrong with going back and trying again. They're being unhappy just for the gram.
And if you respect the culture, no matter how different it is, it won't be as difficult as like just being angry and walking around this place and
all the time. If you can do that in your home country,
and that country doesn't need you. I mean, economically they're doing well. You need them. That's why you did it.
Exactly. And sometimes you just want a break free. But Anna, thank you so much for joining me on this channel.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate. Hopefully I'll see you again. I don't know when.
It's been real.
No. And I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's something different from what I usually do, but I thought it would be nice to just also get the perspective from Anna's side, or from somebody else who did not do au pairing. You see, it happens, guys, and there are so many other opportunities. And if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to comment. And if you have any questions for Anna, comment down below. Girl, I can hook you up. Woo! So comment down below, and of course I'll forward them to Anna, and Anna, you can also answer them. And don't forget to subscribe. And if you want more videos like this, I don't mind reaching out to other people who have been abroad, who have done something differently than I have. And if you have other questions that I didn't answer, put them down here, and then we can answer them in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time. Bye.